The DEA says it has just delivered one of the biggest blows ever dealt to one of the world's most violent cartels. Agents claim this operation proves just how deeply the cartel's drug network has spread into the United States, and they're vowing not to let up anytime soon. In what's being called one of the largest strikes in U.S. history against the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, or CJNG, federal agents coordinated an extraordinary campaign that spanned 5 days in multiple states. The scale of this operation was staggering. Over the course of just 5 days, DEA agents, along with ICE task forces and local law enforcement, moved with a level of precision and coordination rarely seen before. By the time the surge was over, 670 individuals had been arrested. Authorities seized more than 6,000 kilograms of methamphetamine, 92 kilograms of fentanyl powder, and over 1 million counterfeit pills. Nearly $48 million in cartel cash and assets were confiscated. In addition to the drugs and money, agents also recovered 244 firearms, weapons that would have fueled the kind of brutal violence CJNG has become infamous for. Officials emphasized that this wasn't just another drug bust. This was a full-scale strike against one of the most violent and dominant criminal organizations operating anywhere in the world today. Every single pill, every kilogram, and every dollar seized represents something far more significant than just numbers. Each one symbolizes a life saved from overdose, a community spared from destruction, and a family that won't have to bury a loved one. When you step back and look at the data, the message becomes clear. This wasn't a routine law enforcement operation. This was a war against a global empire of organized crime. The main target of this massive campaign was the CJNG, which U.S. intelligence agencies have described as one of the most dangerous criminal networks on Earth. Earlier this year, the United States officially designated CJNG as a foreign terrorist organization, placing them in the same league as groups that threaten international stability and security. That classification matters, because CJNG is more than just a cartel. It's a global machine. From Mexico's massive industrial-scale drug labs to suburban stash houses in the U.S., CJNG has built a sprawling network that funnels meth, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl into American communities. Its operation runs like a multinational corporation, except its product isn't food, fuel, or clothing. Its product is death. Agents describe CJNG's business model as one built entirely on addiction, violence, and corruption. The cartel's profits are measured not only in billions of dollars, but in lives lost. It's a criminal empire that thrives in chaos, and that's precisely why officials say this 5-day blitz was so critical. The mission was not just to seize drugs, it was to dismantle the infrastructure, the networks, and the people who keep this deadly system functioning. Between September 22nd and September 26, 2025, the operation unfolded like a carefully orchestrated storm. DEA agents, ICE task forces, and local police joined forces across 23 U.S. field divisions and 7 foreign regions. This wasn't a strike confined to one city, it was a global offensive. Raids were carried out in Los Angeles, Texas, New England, and the Pacific Northwest, while international partners simultaneously targeted cartel assets overseas. American agents hit stash houses, distribution hubs, and couriers across the nation. By condensing the operation into just 5 days, officials ensured CJNG had no time to react, relocate, or reorganize. Typically, when a raid strikes one location, the cartel simply shifts its operations elsewhere. But this time, the hits came too fast, too widespread, and too coordinated for them to counter. Officials believe that's the key reason this operation succeeded. It choked CJNG's system all at once, stripping away their drugs, cash, and manpower before they even had a chance to respond. For CJNG, those 5 days may have been the most damaging week they've ever faced inside U.S. borders. The numbers from this campaign tell their own story, and they reveal how deeply CJNG had infiltrated American communities. A total of 670 suspects were taken into custody, and authorities made it clear these were not low-level street dealers. Among those arrested were transporters moving shipments by the truckload, redistributors pushing narcotics into neighborhoods, couriers handling cartel money, and facilitators who kept the entire supply chain alive. Each arrest represented more than just another booking. It was the removal of a vital link in a complex chain that stretched from Mexico's mega labs all the way to American suburbs. Taking out so many individuals in such a short period caused significant disruption, forcing the cartel to slow down, stumble, and lose ground. It won't eliminate the threat entirely, but it proved something powerful. Even an organization as ruthless and resourceful as CJNG can be hit at its core. The seizures themselves underline the urgency of this case. More than 92 kilograms of fentanyl powder and 1 million counterfeit pills were pulled off U.S. streets. Agents explained that a single counterfeit pill can be lethal. That means the quantity seized potentially represented millions of lives saved. That's what makes fentanyl unlike any other drug. It takes only a few grains to end a human life. CJNG has been flooding U.S. markets with fentanyl disguised as legitimate medications, pressed to look like Adderall, oxycodone, or Xanax. Alongside the fentanyl, agents also seized a staggering 6,000 kilograms of methamphetamine, nearly 23,000 kilograms of cocaine, and 33 kilograms of heroin. When you add it all up, the arrests, the seizures, the money, and the message, it's clear. This wasn't just a law enforcement success. It was a direct strike against a global empire built on death and addiction. The scale of this operation looked less like a routine law enforcement bust and more like the seizure of a military stockpile. Each kilogram taken off the street wasn't just a bag of drugs, it was a weapon in the cartel's war on America. Every pound removed meant another shipment that would never reach a buyer, another overdose that would never happen, and another family spared from the devastation of addiction and loss. But the operation didn't end with drugs. The financial damage inflicted on the cartel was just as devastating. Agents stripped away $18.6 million in cartel cash and another $29.6 million in assets, including luxury homes, expensive vehicles, and high-value investments hidden throughout communities across the United States. These assets weren't just trophies of wealth for cartel leaders, they were lifelines. They represented the way cartels launder profits, buy loyalty, and expand their reach. Losing them doesn't just cost money, it weakens their entire grip on power. And then there were the guns. A total of 244 firearms were seized, including rifles and pistols linked directly to cartel enforcers. These are the same weapons that fuel cartel violence, the tools used to intimidate communities, fight rival groups, and even confront law enforcement. Removing these firearms from circulation was just as vital as seizing the drugs themselves. In the words of one federal agent, this was about more than just numbers. Every arrest made, every dollar confiscated, every kilo seized, it all translates into lives saved. Officials emphasized that this operation wasn't designed to make headlines. It was about dismantling a cartel that treats overdose deaths as nothing more than collateral damage and showing that even a network as powerful as CJNG can be struck where it hurts the most. What makes the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, so dangerous is not just the volume of drugs it moves, but the structure and scale of its operation. Officials explained that CJNG isn't a local gang, nor even a regional cartel. It's a multinational empire with tens of thousands of members operating across more than 40 countries. The chain begins overseas. Chemical precursors for fentanyl are shipped from international suppliers and funneled into massive megalabs in Mexico. From there, the finished drugs are moved across U.S. highways, hidden in commercial trucks. Once across the border, the product finds its way into stash houses, suburban warehouses, and even quiet residential neighborhoods, where couriers repackage and distribute it to local dealers. To families living in those neighborhoods, nothing appears suspicious, until the day federal agents arrive and drag out the evidence of an international trafficking empire hiding in plain sight. This is how CJNG operates, embedded within ordinary communities, invisible until exposed. And that is why the DEA now considers CJNG to be one of the most serious national security threats facing the United States today. Their empire runs with the precision of a global corporation, complete with distribution chains, financial departments, enforcers, and recruiters. But unlike any legitimate business, CJNG's only product is poison, and its only goal is profit. That is precisely why this 5-day operation mattered so much. For CJNG, the hits came fast and came hard. Arrests stripped away manpower. Seizures tore apart their product lines. Cash and assets were removed from circulation. Firearms were pulled out of the hands of their enforcers. In just 1 week, the DEA and its partners demonstrated that even a criminal empire of this magnitude can be disrupted, slowed, and forced to retreat. Still, officials cautioned that this victory doesn't mark the end of the fight. CJNG is known for adapting quickly. Its leaders remain at large. Its supply chains are vast. And for every member arrested, there's another recruit waiting to take their place. But what this operation proved beyond doubt is that coordination works. By merging the efforts of 23 U.S. field divisions and 7 foreign regions, and striking everywhere at once, law enforcement proved that the cartel has no safe place to hide. When raids occur simultaneously in Los Angeles, Texas, Chicago, and New England, while foreign partners strike at supply routes abroad, the cartel can't shift, can't move, and can't respond fast enough. That level of synchronization is the formula for success, and it's the strategy officials say they will continue to use. In the end, the numbers remain the clearest reflection of what truly happened: 670 arrests. Over 6,000 kilograms of methamphetamine seized, 92 kilograms of fentanyl powder, 1 million counterfeit pills removed from circulation, nearly $48 million in cash and assets confiscated, 244 firearms recovered. Each of these numbers stands for something far greater than statistics. They represent lives saved, communities protected, and families spared from the devastation of addiction, violence, and grief. Officials have called this operation both a victory and a warning. The fight is far from over. CJNG will adapt, rebuild, and strike again. But for now, in September 2025, their empire took a blow it could not ignore. For Americans watching overdose deaths rise and cartel violence spread, this operation sent a powerful message. The battle is not just being fought at the border. It is being fought in neighborhoods, in suburbs, and in schools across the United States, one pill, one bust, and one arrest at a time. The fight continues. And the message is clear: the cartel may be global, but so is the resolve to stop it.